I'm black. I'm black. Okay? I know. It surprised you. You weren't expecting it. You were like, okay, I can tell that you're some kind of brown, but I don't know what kind. There's a mix of other things, but I am black. Which is why today I'm going to be rating Brooke Schofield's apology. Because listen, I can't sit here and talk about another YouTuber being racist and be serious because they are. It's not surprising. I'm not like, oh my gosh, they're racist. What has this world come to? No. Every time another YouTuber is racist, I'm like, okay. All right, so my name is Lilac. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, listen to my music, and follow me on Instagram, TwikTwalk. I had so much time to stop that, and I still let it come out. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, all the things, and let's just get into it. So, Brooke Schofield is Tana Mojo's co-host on the Canceled podcast. Now, if you've been around this block like J-Lo, we've been running up and down the block.
I like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block.
If you've been around this block of YouTube for a minute, you would know that every time I talk about Tana Mojo and Brooke Schofield, it is because I don't know how to feel about them. I think they're funny, but I just don't support them as people. And especially with Tana Mojo's own like racist kind of stuff happening.
Impression of a black woman joining Chocolate Bunny.
Chocolate Bunny? Girl, please.
You could say that I'm not surprised with this. So we're going to get into it. First, we're going to start off lights with Brooke Schofield saying, oh my God, I swear I had nappier hair this morning than most African Americans on this end of our country. Hashtag Afro. Okay, so first of all, as somebody who actually has nappy hair 99.9% of the time, girl, no you don't. I've seen your hair. It's thin as hell. And listen, I understand that because my hair is thin at the same time that it's nappy. I don't even know how it's possible, but that's how it is. And no, it's not. And I don't even know why you would say that to try to sound cool, because nappy hair is a bitch to deal with. It is a bitch and a half. And what do you mean on this end of the country? What side of the country was she on? Was she in the South? Because black people are everywhere. You know, maybe not here in Vegas. Not a lot of that happening here. But we're nappy all over the world, honey. Okay, we're not just nappy on one part of the world. Okay, so don't put us in a box. Don't limit us and squander our potential to just being nappy on one side of the world. Okay, let us shine. Let us thrive. And I'm obviously joking. Okay, that one. We'll rate it out of 10 fried chicken and Kool-Aids, because that's the most like stereotypical thing besides watermelon that is associated with black people. And you know what's crazy is I don't like watermelon, fried chicken, or Kool-Aid. My black card gonna get revoked, but while I still have it, I'm gonna rate this one like a 4. Okay, because it's stupid. I don't really care about it. It's dumb. But I wouldn't see that and get angry. I would see that and just be like, okay, that's really cringe and weird of you. Next, we have Cassie, I'm assuming is her friend, yells racist profanities in the movie theater. The only minority in the room is sitting directly behind us. Okay, I don't know who the minority is, but why are you yelling like, I can't imagine being in a movie theater, watching a movie, and being like, this movie is so beautiful. When's the time? Hey, I need to know the context of you just sitting there yelling out slurs at the Notebook. I don't know what's happening. That one is a little bit more egregious than the last one, because it's like, I don't know if I even believe that it happened. I don't even know if it's true, but if it's not true, that's even more embarrassing because you're lying about saying slurs. So this one has some more embarrassment on top of being racist. So I'm going to give it like a 6. 6 out of 10. Fried chicken and Kool-Aids. Then she said, I said so many accidentally racist things last night. I don't know how I even made it back to America. I don't believe it was an accident. I don't believe that you slipped and fell and you were like,
not to be racist or anything, but
black people.
It's just weird. And I've never been accidentally racist. So I'm just gonna have to say that you're racist. Because here's the thing. How do you acknowledge that they're racist, but then you say them on accident? It's not like when you accidentally tell somebody that you're planning a surprise party for them. It's like, how do you accidentally say like the N-word or something? I don't have that problem. And for that, I'm going to also give that one a 6. This one says to R-word you or not to R-word you, an everyday struggle. Is it? Because here's the thing, y'all. Ew, my cat just literally flung litter on me. That is disgusting. Facebook reminds me of the awfully cringe and embarrassing things I said when I was in high school. And it's never been that, okay? It's never been anything like that. I think the worst status that I posted was like, I like 2 guys at once. What's the problem with that? Oh, you're gonna judge me because I like 2 boys at the same time? And it's like, first of all, neither one of those boys liked me back. Second of all, why was I screaming that on Facebook? Nobody knows. But anyways, it was never, should I R-word somebody? I don't know. It's between that and being accidentally racist. That one's pretty bad. So I'm going to give that an 8. And that's not racially charged. So I'm going to give that just an 8 out of 10. You should get some help for that. Then she said, what do you call a Mexican baptism? A bean dip. It's funny. It's funny. You're so funny. Okay. And then it came out that she voted for Trump. She tweeted, America is great again. And when Trump was elected, it was a horrible time for most of us. And if he gets elected again, it will be a horrible time for everybody, because even the people that support him understand that he would buy and sell you in a second if he had the option. It just kind of goes to show where her head's at. And the Do We Know Them podcast had some other information, like she had never voted in another election before or after that. And she, in the middle of all this controversy, liked a picture with Trump, which is like probably not the best to do when you're getting called out for being racist. Probably not the best look. She was like, oh, I'm sorry. He was just with Aiden Ross or something, and it was like weird to see them. I never thought I'd see them together. Where's your PR team? Because you need one, and if you had one, they'd want to quit. Now we're going to get to the ones that make me mad. I didn't see a lot of people talking about this one because she had another tweet about Trayvon Martin that caught everybody's attention, but I feel this one deserved just as much attention. This tweet was about Michael Brown, who was an 18-year-old who unfortunately lost his life due to police violence. I think it was 8 days after he graduated. Obviously, excessive force. Okay, are we surprised? Michael Brown was unarmed. He even turned around and had his hands up, and the policeman continued to shoot him 12 times. Okay, so obviously a horrific story. And Brooke Schofield decided to tweet a picture of a gorilla in a graduation cap and said, oh, the picture CNN doesn't want you to see, saying that Michael Brown was the same as that gorilla. That one pisses me off because this child lost their life after graduating when their life is supposed to be just starting and getting excited. And you have the audacity in this wrongful death to tweet out a picture of a fucking gorilla. And that's the shit that makes me so mad, because it's like there really are people out there that don't see black people and brown people as human beings. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? White people, let me talk to you for a second. A lot of white people have the luxury of getting to grow into being careful with their words and not so ignorant. They get the luxury and the privilege of growing in to not being ignorant. Whereas other people, black people, Hispanic people, like other races, we don't get that luxury. If we fuck up, we lose our lives. We don't get the ability to just casually go around saying heinous, horrible shit and then getting away with it. We could literally be doing nothing unarmed and we don't even get away with that. So it's just like, at first, when all of this came out, before I saw the Trayvon Martin tweet we were about to go over, I was like, okay, everybody says some dumb stuff when they're a teenager and when you're misinformed. And she also said because her parents were addicts, she grew up with her grandparents who were very, very conservative and listened to Rush Limbaugh and things of that nature. And I do think that plays a role in this. I do think that if you grow up as a young, impressionable, malleable child around people who are hateful, because that's more than conservative, that's just being racist, I do think as a child you're going to absorb some of that and think that it's okay. However, it wasn't. It wasn't. I understand being easily influenced at a young age, but we don't get the luxury of being easy. We don't get to walk around calling you guys slurs and beating y'all up unarmed. And like, it doesn't, just the luxuries that certain people have are very frustrating. I will say that. So now let's get to the worst one of them all. She said, guarantee if Zimmerman shot a white guy, this wouldn't even be a story. Newsflash, this wasn't a crime of racism. It was self-defense. Now, if you don't know, Trayvon Martin was a teenager, a child who was going to get some snacks, had his hoodie on, and got shot by a crazy person who also had a history of violence. Now, that's the one, Brooke. That's the one. Both this and the last one are 10 out of 10. They're terrible of you. They're horrible, and regardless of your influences and the people you grew up around, they're absolutely terrible. Her and Tana have come out and made their own responses about this, which I'll insert her response. But her and Tana were basically like, oh, we were children back then, and you know, we had a bad childhood. We were ignorant and all these things. Okay, he was a child. While you guys were running around being ignorant children, because you see, when you're the same age as him, you consider yourself a child. But this child that was the same age as you, that lost his life, was not a child. Make it make sense, please. It's not making sense. And honestly, I kind of knew they were racist because they like Theo Von, and Theo Von just whole ass said the N-word on his podcast. And like, I mean, Tana's had her N-word scandals as well, but the people they support and allegedly the people they hang around, like, we've been new. I'm actually surprised that Tana's dating a brown boy because that wasn't the direction I thought she was going to go based on her past. And I wonder if he knows about it. But yeah, those are the worst of the worst tweets. I mean, she hit every group. She talked about the F slur and the R slur, and she was really, really making sure that everybody got a little. So maybe she's not racist at all. Maybe she's the most equal person that we know. If you hate everyone equally, is it racism? The answer is yes. So that's the tweet. She came out with an apology kind of explaining what I said about how she's disgusted by these tweets, and it wasn't until she went out on her own in life that she began to learn things were different.
Right, guys, I have had a lot to say about accountability lately and how important it is and how far it can go, and I feel like I'm not taking my own advice. Obviously, by now you guys have seen the tweets that are circulating around. They unfortunately are not fake. Those are real tweets, like real things that I said. First of all, I want to acknowledge that I feel the same way about them that you do. I think they're so disturbing, they're wrong, they're horrible, and they're disgusting. Of course, I do appreciate the people who are coming to bat for me and like saying like, it was so long ago and like she's grown and stuff, but like it doesn't fucking matter. Like it literally does not matter. They are horrible. I want to talk about particularly the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman situation. I got to be so emotional because I don't want it to seem like it's like a sympathy thing at all. I also don't want to blame anybody else at all. And so I'm trying like to be really careful about that. I just want to explain like and give some context into like my mindset at the time, because I have seen like some comments today that are like, well, no shit, she's racist, like white nepo baby, like a little like spoiled brat, like, and that was not my situation. And my parents were addicts, so I was adopted by my grandparents when I was like 10, and I grew up with them from that point on. And as is true for a lot of grandparents, they're a little bit less progressive than a lot of us are now. And my grandma has dementia, so it was really just like me and my grandpa, and he is a very, very right-wing conservative man, okay? It was like my household was literally just Fox News all the time, Rush Limbaugh, like if you guys know who that is, like playing literally all day long through the house, and that was just like the only thing ever that I had been exposed to. A lot of you guys have also seen my mom's Twitter because she was responding back and forth about the Trayvon Martin situation, and I just should have known better. I know her, and I should have known that she is not somebody that I take any sort of political insight from at all. Again, sometimes you like have these people that you like put on a pedestal and you think everybody older than you is smarter than you and knows everything, and they do not. Truthfully, it took me a really long time. Like, I know some of the tweets I was like 18 and people are like, yeah, like she was old enough to know better. Like, honest to God, you guys, it wasn't until like even after college that I really started to like shift my way of thinking. And there are people in my life who I might have looked up to forever who I do not agree with. And I think it's amazing now that people are like learning earlier on about politics and like forming their own opinions outside of like what their parents think or what they're hearing or whatever it is. But that just wasn't the case for me. Whatever I heard, I passed on. I'm sorry, very, very sorry to anybody who is hurt by the tweets, because obviously they're very hurtful. Like a lot of it is just like what, like why would I even say that? And I apologize for not having said something sooner. I just felt like I was getting these messages from people who like were hurt by them, and I felt like by bringing more attention to it, I was just going to be hurting more people, and that was not the right mindset. I should have said something sooner, and I would never let something go this far again. Like, I love you all so much, and obviously I know that there are some people who are just like not going to care for me anymore, and like I understand that. I need you to know that like it's not how I think, that is not what I believe, and I am 27 years old now. I've had so much time to like learn and grow and like formulate my own opinions, and they are nothing like they were when I was 17, 18 years old.
But I don't buy that, because she still allegedly hangs around people that are ignorant, we'll call it that. She still supports Trump. She still is friends with people like Tana Mojo, which brings me to my next point. In all this, Tana Mojo was like, okay, Brooke's not going to be on the podcast anymore at least for a little bit. We're going to take a break. It's a mutual decision.
I am alone on this couch. Brooke is not here with us today, and I want to be abundantly clear that that was my decision. We all saw the tweets, and they're up and they're horrific, and I'm saying that as a white person, right? Like, I cannot even imagine being a black non-fan or fan and reading those tweets. And I've made it very clear to Brooke as well that I condemn her for these tweets. I'm also wrong in this situation, and I want to be open and honest with you guys about that. When Brooke made her first apology video, I commented on it and I said, "We grew up bad, I love you," and immediately regretted it so hard. It's not my place as a white person to forgive her or add to the problem and further the narrative of white people forgiving other white people. And it's not enough to just write these things off as we grew up bad. And I think that I learned that now, and that shows me that I still have things to learn and unlearn. And I just first wanted to apologize to anyone I hurt for commenting that on her video.
And people are saying that's not how you should have had it. Brooke should have come on here and explained herself, because she only had an apology on Reddit and TikTok, which her Reddit apology I'm going to have on the screen. You can pause to read it if you want. And let me tell you, Tana Mojo has been getting flamed too, because Tana Mojo has her own past, and apparently her only person of color that's around her, Amari, her friend, he has his own problematic stuff too. And so it's just like, listen, the company you keep means everything, and the company you keep was doing the same stuff that you were doing and is still doing it allegedly. And you like Theo Vine. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been escalating from there. Brooke's been trying to stay off social media, but she has been liking certain comments towards Tana, and her mom actually came out. And her mom, she said, is very not well and has said racist stuff and is racist just like her grandparents. And she's basically said, "Oh, I'm so glad you see through the Trayvon Martin stuff. And also, shame on you, Tana. Like, I thought you were really her friend and you're just throwing her to the curb." And Brooke has been like, "Mom, I am literally begging you to stop." So it's just been a mess. And here's the thing. When it comes to people being racist, do I think you can change? If a lot of it was just your environment and the way you grew up, which I do want to acknowledge could be part of it. Like, we do need to acknowledge that a child is malleable and is going to suck up everything an adult says. Do I think that you can be capable of change? I do. If it's not, like, I don't believe a child is born hateful. I believe that they are made hateful, and I do believe they can unlearn that. But it's also one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to stick around to care, okay? I'm not going to care if you change. I'm not going to care if you don't. I'm just not going to support you, and I'm not going to give a fuck. So that's kind of where it's at with me. The whole thing is like 12 out of 10 fried chickens. Yeah, I don't know. It's really disappointing because I really liked Brooke, but like, obviously, no. And Tana condemning her like she's any better is crazy. That's it. Bye.
Ooh.